Waiting a bit. Good morning to everyone. I am academic counselor, BISWAS of IGNOU. Today, MMPH003, that is Human Resource Planning. In today's sessions, I have to discuss left out this is block 1, unit number 3, that is job analysis. And then block number 2, unit number 4, 5, and 6, this is related to your forecasting. It is a demand forecasting and supply forecasting regarding these things. So, okay, let's start the block 1 job analysis. Unit number 3, job analysis, and block 2, unit number 4, 5, and 6. Today, I'm trying to finish it up. HR demand analysis, HR supply analysis, and human resource mapping and stock takings. So, what are the sub-units of the unit number 3? That is, we try to understand the job analysis, the concept and the importance, why it is important. Then the components of the job analysis and the method, job analysis methods, different methods, and job analysis process, then uses of job analysis, future trends. Now, job analysis is the process of systematically gathering and analyzing the important informations about what type of jobs are already assigned to the employees, what are the responsibilities, and for the requirement of the jobs. So important functions of HR and management, that is to provide a detailed and the comprehensive understanding of the nature of jobs in the organizations. So there are 3 things: job analysis, as we popularly knows, job analysis, job descriptions, and your specification, job specifications. So all 3 are interdependent to each other. So job analysis is the first, which I have to gather the informations. And based on these, we can prepare the job descriptions and other specifications also. So during this process, first thing is the necessary informations for developing for the job description and the job specifications. So it is a part of your job analysis when you are taking the data or the informations for preparing the job descriptions and the specification we are taking the. So initial stage are job analysis. Then secondly, job analysis provides the foundation for designing and implementing of the performance management systems. And thirdly, the job analysis helps in identifying and addressing training and development needs of the employees. So based on these, we can forecast, we can see how much training is required, who will be the eligible for that. So that's why basically you have to make some database, HR database. Based on this, we have to decide. And fourthly, in the number 4 stages, it provides the basis for the determining the compensation and the benefits of the employees. Means, suppose you see that a particular one of the data for the information of the employees, for example, and he is due for the promotions, maybe the last 3 years, he is consecutively worked for the particular positions. And now he is due for the promotions. Now we can see eligibility. You can make a chart, separate chart. Yes, those are employees are for eligible for the next promotions, for next career purposes. So it is and another thing is for the compensation also. For example, for due for the increment or due for some other purposes. So you can have a make a list for that. So that is the fourthly that there is some sort of, you can say, the advantages also. Then finally, now we are talking about the descriptions. So job descriptions typically include your what are the title of the jobs, because you have to decide what type of duties, responsibilities you have to assign him particular one of the employees. That's why that is basically the job description, where it is written statement. This is the things you have to do it. The essential job functions, knowledge, and the skill requirement. What type of skill is required? Maybe computer expertise, or maybe some of the 3 years, 4 years experience is required. So this is all these things are to be included in the job descriptions. Now specifications. Job specifications typically include your what are the qualifications, work experience, technical skills, personal attributes, and physical requirements, other requirements also. So all these things are in the specification. You have to specify the things. So for example, in the airlines, mostly the air hostesses, there are some conditional things are there. 6 feet height, or unmarried, should be unmarried, and then maybe 12 pass for the things. If it is a pilot post, the different things, physically fitness. So lot of criteria are specified. So that is basically the specifications. The job description is the outline of the duties, responsibilities, requirement, knowledge, skills, and ability. That is, in short, KSA. Knowledge, skills, and abilities. It is required for the successful job performance. All these things are required for, you have to anticipate it, this much things are required to particular these jobs. So foundation, basically job specification will provide the foundation of the creating the job specifications. You can take some of the data. It is the data are the multiplying. Basically, from same data may be used for preparing the job analysis, for the description, and for specification also. So that how to analyze or what are the purpose, based on this you have to utilize this what we have gathered the information and the data about particulars. Or I can say it's a different application, for examples. So suppose you are preparing for the descriptions, job descriptions, you have to apply same data for different format, different things, different queries are there. And for specifications, maybe some of the data is common. You are also putting in the specification purposes also. Apart from that, you have to put some other things. So for example, the job description include the duties, such as meaning of the team and the developing a marketing strategy. The job specification might include the KSA, such as the leadership skills, communication skills, and strategic thinking activities. So this is the way. It is some sort of you can see the relationship where we actually try to emphasize the relationship between the your job analysis, job description, and specifications. So question may come this way: derive the relationship between job description and job specifications. And then you have to write all these points. Create that job specifications can be used to create or update the job descriptions. Here are some of the points actually I'm trying to emphasize so that you can differentiate between the specification and the justice descriptions, so that there should not be any confuse. I mean, otherwise we can say the description and the job specification are interdependent. The component of the basically or both are component of the job analysis. So then you can have a imagine in your mind this is one of the first block that you can write within the box job analysis. Then after that there are another box below the job analysis. You can write one box for your job description, another box you can write job specification. So both the things are interdependent for the our component of the job analysis. Now methods. Now there are so many methods how to collect the data. That is a job analysis methods. Interviews are there, observations, then questionnaires, survey, critical incident technique. There are a lot of techniques are there to collect the data. Job performance analysis, work diary or logs. The different logbooks are there. From there also you can have a idea. You can collect the information. So all these things are the methods. Basically, different methods are there for collecting the informations. Now, job analysis as is process, typically the following some of the steps are there. You have to follow these steps to determine the purpose and the scope of the job analysis. Select the job or the jobs to be analyzed. First things you have to select which type of jobs you are likely to be analyzed. Then collect the data, job data, and analyze the job data. Then use the job analysis software. Verify the job analysis informations. Then develop the job descriptions and the specifications. Then maintain and update the job informations. Because updation is very important. Because sometimes your data collected, but you are not updated. So correct real-time data is not available. Then you cannot make very realistic job description or realistic job specifications. It may not be developed, may not be formulated. So apart from that, legal compliances, validating for the job analysis, job review of the job analysis data. What are the data that, as again, same thing, you have to review the things. If something error or something mismatch, that you have to eliminate the particular this information. So you have to segregation parts like this. Evaluate the job performance against the established standards, some of the standards you have for the things. But nowadays, everything the software is available. So you can run this software and you will get a alternates and you can get it for the results. So for the decision making purposes, most of the companies are now utilizing the different software services. Now maintaining and updating. As I said, updating and maintaining is very important for the job analysis information. What are the information you have? Purposes that you have to update. If it is a more than 6 months or 1 year before data, then definitely you have to recollect the data, resurvey, or again the interview process. So that way you have to update the data. If it is the same, you can keep it. Or the data changes, the changed data has to be incorporated, and balanced data if you remain. That is the way you have to some updations is very important. So that the relevant things and accurate. You have basically idea is to ensure that the data are correct data at present scenario. Now for that some of these steps are there. How to update the job analysis informations. What about the informations? How to maintain and to update. For that, conduct a periodic review. So you have to periodically do maybe quarterly or maybe fortnightly, depending on the situations, the nature of your company organization's work. Then feedback. See the feedback from these stockholders. So feedback is very important part. One of the best component for updating purposes, feedback is very important. We cannot ignore the feedbacks. Use the performance feedback from the appraisal systems. You can collect, it is available in the personal departments. Then analyze the job trends. What are the job trends are there in the market? And your requirement should be matched, aligned with the market demand. Then update the job descriptions and your specification. You have to update. Finally, you have to update it. And use job analysis software. Finally, you have to use the software. The software will give you the result. Ultimately, you have the final things which are to be required. The following some of the key steps involved in using the job analysis for development, for develop the job descriptions and the specifications. Now you are preparing, for developing the job description and the specification. So you have to see some of the steps and select the qualified candidates. Conduct a job analysis. That is one thing. Here actually I am talking about the recruitment and selection process for that purposes. So first things, to conduct a job analysis, that are the first steps. Then develop the job descriptions and develop the job specifications. So now you can see this, it is just sequential, it is just sequence. And first thing is priority wise also, prioritize the things. Job analysis is the first, you have to do it. Then based on this, we can prepare the job description and the job specification, as we have said in the previous slides, which already we have explained, that job, until and unless you are preparing the job analysis, you cannot derive the job description and specifications, because they both are component of the job analysis. So steps are things. If I write job description, develop the job description, then develop the job specification, after that job analysis, no, it is wrong. So first things you have to conduct your job analysis. Here actually we have to remember the things. Then after that, description and specifications. Then evaluate the effectiveness of the job description and your specifications. So when you are prepared, then you have to evaluate the things, how best it is there, and really it is compatible with your job or not, on which really your requirement, objectives of the company. Now, job analysis is an essential tool for the effective performance. Now we are talking about the performance management. In the performance management, you see, it is a very essential tools for job analysis purposes. From there, you can get a lot of data informations from the personal management tools. So following up some of the key ways for the performance management. And from there, you can which the job analysis can be used in the performance management. Establish the job standards. Then you compare the job standards and which the performance throughout the year the particular employee has done. Develop the performance metrics. Identify the performance gaps. Then you can easily, when you are comparing the things as per based on your standards, which really are the desire for the company. So desired value and the performance value. The value in the sense, which are the, as per the standards, the parameters, or rather I can say, what are the parameters we have set it as a standards. That is your expectation, company's expectations, and which the employee has done throughout the year. That performance chart. That both the charts you have to match. Where you are, how much, I mean, it is a 99%, 100%, 80%, how much. Then based on this, you can identify the gaps, performance gap. That is called the performance gaps. Then develop the performance improvement plans. When you are achieve the gaps, you know this much gaps are there. Then you have to develop the performance improvement plans, how to improve the gaps. Means basically how to reduce the gaps so that 100% performance can get it, which are linked with standards. Then provide the feedbacks. Then if it is not there, I mean the gaps is more, then you have to provide the feedbacks. And compensation and benefits accordingly. Determine the job worth and then establish the jobs classifications, develop the job descriptions, develop the benefits package. So all are parallelly one by one. You can develop the performance manager, job as essential tools. Basically, all are tools. Through this way, you can analyze the performance management. Job analysis is an essential tool for the learning and development. Now, here actually, we mean to say the job analysis, how it is important in the organization. That is the point. Or rather, I can say the job analysis is useful for your recruitment purposes. Job analysis is required for your maintenance purposes. Job analysis is required for your helping for your performance management. Now, job analysis are required for your learning and development also. So, when you are one time conducted for the job analysis, then based on this database, that's information. Now, how many applications you are benefited? You can recruitment things, then your other things, I mean the personal management, now learning and development, training program or whatever the things. So here actually see how much this really important of the job analysis. So for that, identify the training needs, then development training program, evaluate the training program effectiveness, develop the career development plans, identify the succession planning needs. So all these parameters, all these things are easily you can get it from the job analysis purposes from there. Now, another important part is future trends. So again, the job analysis are giving you the pictures for future needs. So what things are required, really required for the company in forthcoming session, I mean forthcoming project, or luckily within 2 years or 3 years. So that forecast, that things you can future purposes also, you can also understand the things. So the field of job analysis and the HR management is constantly evolving. So and there are several emerging trends are there and are likely to the shape of the future of these areas. The use of the technologies, things are really required. Focus on the skills, increase the flexibility, emphasize on the diversity and the inclusions, focus on the employee well-being. So all are you can evolve the things. So slowly, from based on this analysis, you can also evolve the new things. You can create, you can generate the things also as per the requirement. Now, some typical questions are there. Some of the questions: what is the job analysis? Then why it is important? As I say, then your component of job analysis, and what is the relation between the job description and specification. So these type of questions basically are from the matrix. Declare, I can say to stop the things. Now I am coming to unit number 4, 5, and 6. So unit number 4, that is the human resource demand analysis. Now we are talking about the demand analysis. Where the introductions, then we have to see the introduction part. Then determining the HR demand, and different type of cases are eliminations, jobs, and what are that we have to see the big companies, what the way they are analyzing the things, or the way they can reduce the things and So that part we can see. Then quantitative methods of the demand forecasting. So quantitative methods that also we have to see for demand forecasting purposes. Then qualitative methods of the demand forecastings and different cases for your succession planning, and for example of your Microsoft, that also we have to see. Now let's see for the introduction of this. The HR forecasting, it is a constituent of the HR planning process and can be understood as a determining the net requirement for the personal by understanding the demand for the supply of the human resources in the current and future scenario. So any organizations, they are see the what are the resources are there. That resources are really allowed to continue for the coming 2-3 years or not. So their capabilities, their well-beings, and if required, we can hire the peoples also. So all these things you have to prepare some of the list. You considering your current resources and from the future scenario. So you have to prepare the things. So that preparing process we are saying it is a HR forecasting. Every department has different forecasting systems. HR, they are from the human resources part. So that's why it is the HR forecasting. Those in the productions, so production manager are preparing the list. What are the present scenario? How much manpower is required? What is the skill of their product workers, subordinates, list of their things, and how much is required? That also they can have it. They project it. So every department has to project it. They have to plan. Even in the HRD also, HRD manager, he can prepare the things. This much training are required. So based on this, he can prepare some calendar of the training programs. So, and it is also aligned with your succession planning also, because you have to see how much development is required in your organizations, how much people are likely to be retired for the forthcoming 6 or 1 year, within this 6 months or 1 year, how much people are in the retirement stages, or how many people attritions, how much people have already left, how much the vacancy are there. So all these parameters, all these things you have to assess and you have to prepare the list, including your talent acquisitions, managerial appraisals. All these things are require a huge chart. You have to prepare some charts, and that is the, we can say, it is a for your forecasting. And for that, to ascertain the HR demand, because to ascertain this, you have to collect. There are 3 important factors are there. First things, you submit estimate. First thing is you have to estimate the manpower requirement. As I said, every department head are to be the corporate forecasting units. Different units are there, or maybe the different plants also. They have to give their requirement. These are the requisitions. They have to give their requirements. Highlights. This is the manpower is required. They have to justify also that these things manpower is required because of these purposes. Or at the same time, what type of training is needed, they can also highlight. So this is the way HR demand estimate is must incorporate the manpower requirement to maintain or replace the current employees. Sometimes you may be replaced is also current employees because their skilling is not sufficient. You have to transfer the recycle things, or maybe you have to transfer from the other departments, some of the talent peoples. So this is how you have to reshuffle, considering their experience, their potential. It will also need to incorporate the future changes of the organization design and the restructuring. This is also one of the part of the restructuring part when you are going for this process. Then determining the HR demand, because finally you have to consider all these thing issues leads us to the your net HR demand. That finally you have to decide the things. Different cases are there. You can have a refer to some of the Google and your what the way they have managed it. As for example, HR demand forecasts are often vulnerable because you don't know what type of problems are there in the business circles, and there is sometimes downturns. Onset of 2023, one example, the Googles, the tech giant, the technical giants, as you know, estimated 12,000 jobs amounting for 6% of the workforce. CEO, they have already some of the they have to recruit or maybe they have to cut the jobs. So all these things they are doing for the restructuring purposes. So again, it is depending on your job analysis purposes, basically demand purposes only. So that analysis they have done. As we know, the changes, Sundar Pichai, the CEO of the company, he took full responsibility of these layoffs and its impact on the people. So that CEO, when he has joined and immediately has taken a lot of your policies, they have to develop some of the policies and all these things are implemented. Everything are because of to see the company's growth should be maintained and the continuity should be maintained. Major reasons why the information technology business are laying off thousands of employees can be attributed to the predicted recessions to strike some of the United States, as you say. And then on yesterday, your Donald Trump declared that so much your unemployment is the USA. So he is taking a lot of strategies for that, how to make them utilize for the job creations and all these things. So that different times from the country wise, from the company wise, from the organization wise, everybody analyzes the things, and that is the scenario is going on. Now, see the quantitative methods of the forecasting. So there are so many forecasting methods. Now we are actually talking about some of the methods. Basically, the units are basically the block is the methods. So there are a lot of method systems out there for us. The trend analysis, the ratio analysis. Trend analysis is basically the quantitative approach that attempts to forecast future personal needs and by the extrapolating how much people are required, and based on the past scenario, last 4 or 5 years references, he has another 10% growth or 10%, 20% growth. So this much some things they have to extrapolate the things, and accordingly you have to arrive some of the figures. Ratio analysis is a straightforward quantities demand forecasting techniques commonly used by the most of the organizations. Ratio analysis they have to do it. How much people are required, what are the job, that ratio based on this, they can have prepare some of the things. Again, I am telling you, this is all the software is available. Only you have to put the data. Now, regression analysis, another process. Through this way, also we can forecast your method with a different method, quantitative methods. In the regression process analysis, there are some of the unknown values and some of the known values. You see the dependent values and independent values. Based on these, some of the equation relationships are there, correlations. Based on these, you have to derive the unknown values figure out. You can figure out the things and accordingly you have to things. So very actually some of the formula is there. That is your y is equal to a plus bx. That is one of the equations, simple regression equations, you can say. The simple regression says y is equal to a plus bx, where y actually your the dependent variables y, and x is your independent variables. A and B basically the constants. A stands for your constant for the intercepts, and B and your B the slope of the linear equations and the linear relationships. So between the independent and dependent variables. So that equation you have to remember it. There is a regression equations we can see, simple regression unit. So here you can see the observation is from this equation y is equal to a plus bx. You see there are 4 variables, we can say it. Out of 4, y and x are one is your dependent variables and independent variables. And A and B mostly the constant in this case. Now you have to understand, you have to derive the A values and B values. When you are arriving the A values and B values, straight away you can make the equations, and from the equation will give you some result, some value they will give for taking the further decisions making for process. So this is one of the method, forecasting method, how much is needed, things are. And another method is their cohort analysis. So cohort analysis, through this also you have to forecast. Here actually they have to give emphasis on wastage. I mean, in the case manpower wastage is maybe it has not ideal or not properly job allocated, or maybe performance is not at par with things. So that part you have to predict and collect it, and that is based on this you have to see that, for example, retirement. Suppose those who are, some of the employees are likely to be 58 years or 59 years, maybe after 1 year or 6 months, they have to retire. So differently, it is also a forecast purposes, you can take it as a wastage. Means wastage in the sense, that type of performance, you cannot expect that type of performance at the job, you cannot expect from those who are retiring shortly. So this is the, you can collect it and prepare the some of the things, that is a wastage analysis. In the sense you have to those somewhere the vacancy also. Suppose some of the vacant positions are also, that is also part of the wastage analysis part. So you have to consider the retired persons. You have to take the what are the vacancies are there. You can take the your resigned company resignations. So or some of the employees are in death condition, there's no there. Maybe medically unfit, some of the employees are medically unfit, and dismissals, some court cases is going on, some of the employees definitely be mentally disturbed, maybe some of the your charge sheet has already issued. So you have to consider it's not as a negative part, means basically all the, you have to highlight the where the wastage is in the sense of this is the way. So this is the another analysis part, and that is also you contribute that parameters of that values, whatever the wastages analysis part, that also can contribute to your main forecasting purposes also. So this is the way also you can forecast. That is one of the cohort analysis. Now, your quantitative method of the forecasting. The quantitative methods of the things are the dynamic organizational scenarios and deriving the rationale to support numerical estimates at the varied, you can forecast of the things. Sometimes the stockholders who provide the information for forecasting are varied sometimes. So for that, some of the steps are there for organizations, line managers who have a detailed knowledge of the workload and responsibilities and provide the valuable inputs for any future forecast. So to take the values and demands also, and sometimes you have to take the viewpoint of the stockholders also. So this is the way you have to prepare some of the demand forecasting. Secondly, HR specialists, some of the specialists or consultant, their views, they can give us some competency mapping views. Yes, this is the things. And then business consultant, as I said, financial analysis, university researchers, some scholar people. So in-depth knowledge about the specific industries can help and provide your impartial estimate of the manpower and competencies required for the futures also. Finally, governmental agencies also help the providing the projects, the HR demands. As they process the knowledge of the future environment, changes of the environment, you can take the government help also. So this is the way you can see. Now, qualitative methods, the forecasting, there are Delphi techniques are there. And the Delphi English state basically the expert views, and they are predictions through this kind. Suppose you are organizations, you are not capable persons to forecast market. That type of experience they don't have. So you can take a expert views, and they can also sequentially they can see, and they have to conduct the surveys, all these things, individual interrogations. They have to see expert people. They know how to question it, and they can prepare some of the database and hand it over to the company. So there are some stages that there are 5 stages. Technical, define the issues and questions of the HR demand. As I said, the expert preparing some of the questions. They know better way. And then identification of the orientations of the experts. Then lot of the first round, second round, so many rounds are there. The questionnaires, they have to prepare the questions, then summarize the second round questions, and finally your conclusions. And they have to derive some signage. That's all are the procedural process. Communication deficiencies, they can also identify issues of the individual dominance and the predominance of the good things. So there's a lot of thought process of thinking the expert can know all these things. So then they have to interactive rounds for the questioners, group discussions, and they finally give even how much cost also associated, they also give some figure out. So you have to figure out the thing, the cost benefit analysis also. So the results are not subject to or statistical verification, that everything are to be different way they have to treat it. Then nominal group techniques are there. This is called the NGT, the effective quantitative techniques, HR demand and forecasting use, and preparation for the, and then there's some face-to-face meetings. This is normal. Normal group technique means face-to-face meetings and discussion of the demand estimates, how much demand, what your suggestions, they have to take it. And finally, or maybe you have to create some of the select box, secret ballot box, where they can determine and they can put it, I mean, they can write the some final demand estimate. They may not be openly say, because sometimes due to some of the reluctance to say all these things to the management, maybe they have to some secret ballot box maybe prepared where they can give it their ideas and views and all these things. Then scenario forecasting is unlikely. The prior to methods relies on the qualitative inputs, where you see some of the future demand forecast, identification of the likely scenarios. You can have to consider what are the scenarios are there over the next 5 years. You have that projections as per our annual project. As you know, the budget sessions, they have to project this is a yearly or 2 yearly or 5 years. Some of the plans are long-term perspectives. You have to see assessment of the organization's preparedness. So, and then another thing, I think SWOT analysis, WOT, that analysis is very much required. Strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats also you have to consider it, because different rivals are also there. Rivals or competitors are also there. So during the 5 years time horizons, you have to consider it. That horizon period, what are the ifs and buts are there. Then assessment of the changes in the quality and the quantity of the manpower. You have to assess the things. Some realistic figure has to be arrived. The scenario development assessment of the HR requirement to meet the threats and the opportunities. What are the threats and opportunities are there? Really it will be achievable or not? So all this figure, you have to figure it. So a lot of different cases are there in the Microsoft company CEO. They have done a lot of things. How to replacement could be found. Microsoft had also suffered the acquisitions. A lot of people have leave. high-profile executives such as the Windows chiefs, Stevens, that everything we know, and it is going on. So this the succession raises the important questions for the both Microsoft and other companies, and what the changes they have faced a lot of changes also, and they are in a now it is a stable conditions. Again, I can say it's a dynamic natures, demand analysis, everything are dynamic natures. Now coming to some of the things we have to say, some of the determination of the supply. Now so far we have discussed about the demand side. Now we have to supply sides. The HR supply forecasting has a unique relationship with your succession plan. Means suppose somebody are retiring, some group of people from the different department, maybe 50 people are retiring and within these coming current years. So that's why you have to supply the things with that gaps which are there. They are working. The working should not be disturbed, and flow of manpower is always to be there, so that the performance level will be same and productivity cannot be. You are not allowed to compromise the things. So HR supply forecasting of the manpower entails two major options. There are two major options. One is internal supply refers, and another external supply also. Internal supply in the sense recruitment of the members within the organizations. You can just transfer it, promotions, training. This is the way you can manage it out. And external supply, you have to recruit the people. Some potential employees you have to recruit outside organizations or from the through these ways, some job fairs or campus recruitment, hiring the talent people, working with the competitors. You can hire the people also. So this is the way you can collect, require the supply can be made. Popular management strategy, the human bustings and paying the employees standard salaries. So main thing you see, the salaries compensation is one of the important part, because you can attract the peoples. There for that lot of studies are there. You can consider it your continental airlines, lot of airlines, the CEO, they have taken a lot of measures they have taken care. They have increased the salaries, or maybe they have to give some paid leaves or something, or a lot of things are there so that they can hire the people, so they can lay out the things. Parallelly, all these things are going. Supply forecasting techniques, again, there are some of the techniques are there. There are how to forecast the HR supply, the skills management, inventors, and then your succession planning and the replacement chart. Based on this, you have to prepare. Then your one of the main important method model is their Markov models. Markov models are popularly used by the supply planning purposes, where there are some of the options are there, 5 options are there, or to do these things, remaining in the current jobs, promotion to a high grade, lateral transfer, then you exit from the jobs, and demotions, which are the layers basically. Because demotion normally most of the companies are reluctant to do these things. So based on this, considering all these things, you can have it, prepare the things. That is one of your Markov models. 3 major steps are there in the market analysis. That is the first thing, the historical data on the mobility rates between the jobs in the organizations. Second is based on the data, we develop the matrices to forecast the future personnel's movement between the jobs. And thirdly and finally, we use the forecast of the model to analysis of the HR policies and the programs, and instigate the necessary adaptations, because sometimes you have to analyze also that, but also adaptive measures also required. That finally, so, in this process, in this analysis, there are basically three steps, three areas, and to make a policies, based on you have to make a policy in the programs to instigate the movement analysis, because there is another thing is movement analysis. It's a technique used for the analysis ripple movements. Sometimes the movements are not in a state way, is in a ripple forms, and affect the voluntary and the involuntary artisans may have the personals in the organizations. Movement analysis helps the HR planners to maintain the balance between the internal and the external supply of things. So because based on this, you can balance the things, how much ripples means basically your up and down, or maybe in the positive side, maybe in the negative sides. So that always you have to feel and weigh in and out, in and out. This is the way that movement are you have to maintain things. So movement analysis helps the planners, because as a planner, you can you know this much people are going out, this much people are in. So this is the way that you can have a very manpower forecasting. It will be easy for that. Some of the steps are there for planning. Your horizon is for this is a 1 year or 2 year, or 3 year, that things currently serving the positions, and you have to suppose you have to considering some of the expansion purposes. So then, or maybe you have to downsizing the manpower. You have to cut some of the people. You have to lay off some of the people, and you have to include some of the people. So losses requiring the replacement of each authority level positions need to be calculated. What are the losses? That also you have to calculate. Suppose for the retirement purpose, suppose 5 people are retained in particular department or particular sections. So that how much cost is involved for that when you are putting for this or from these positions. Suppose the manager, the different cost. The worker is going out, different cost. So you have to position wise, you have to see how much cost are also involving for that. There's a very long process analysis part, different way there, different techniques are there for analysis part. It is again, all the analysis are depend of the type of the companies, nature of the jobs, and where which things are fitted for your organizations. That is a very important thing. Another thing, vacancy models, how much are vacancies there, renewal purpose or sequential models. Say employee flow, as I said, throughout the organizations and examining the inputs and outputs of every positions, you have to monitor the things, how many people are trainees, they are coming and they are growing up to senior position, 10 years, they have to stay, after that again outgoing some of the people. So this is the way you have to see the vacancy models, and you can plan some of the for 10 years, or some horizon you have to fix. For 5 years, I have to consider this. This model will be for the 5 years, or maybe this model for the 10 years considering the thing. So that span you have to decide, and you have to prepare the things. The vacancy model will also utilize for the historical data and identify the number of internal and external personnel required at each level for the organizations. So you can take a reference from the previous also things. That time how much people are working, what is the things are there. As a reference, you have to consider it. Things. Then linear programming is another thing. Method for it is also a HR planner as a help for the determining the forecast for the supply of the manpower based on the achieving the best staffing outcomes, taking into the consideration the constraints such as the labor cost or all these things. Here actually the linear equations are adopting that lot of techniques are there, lot of parameters based on this. Linearity they have to see and easily can, for the decision taking purposes, linear program are really required for some sort of your matrices are there. From there you can derive the things which are the really, what are the determinant, exact real determinant, you can identify the things, and finally you can take the actions accordingly, you can prepare. So linear programming as functions of the similar assumptions. And with regression models, as I say, the regression process, there are through this regression process models, you can some of the assumptions are there, then alternatives, you have to derive some of the alternatives. And based on these alternatives, you can go for final decisions. Or here, some of the linear case of non-linear cases and quantitative program may also be used in this program. Now, the factors, prime factors of the detailing of these things. Demographic changes, because as we know, everywhere the demographic changes, age, your birth rate, and size of the area, population. So all are, so distribution of the population, everything are. So you have to see, you have to study all these things. This socio-cultural trends that also increase the participation of the women, because the women workforce are joining. Then technology is also changing. So tremendous technological upgradations and rapid digitalizations are going on. After the post pandemic, you can see a lot of technology has changes, labor mobility, and state of the economy. These all are some of the factors, prime factors are here. Now coming to last mapping and stock trading units. Here, introduction of the stock taking and the human resource mapping are crucial steps while the planning and effective utilization of the available manpower. Means idea is how to create the effective utilization, where your manpower, human resources are there, how to use them so that their potentiality can be achieved 100%. So an organization then only can have a stability, adaptability, and profitability. All these word things are achievable when we correctly evaluating the right kind of people and the designated jobs. Sometimes it may happen, even though he is the right persons, knowledgeable, but the job design are not correctly fit for him. He is not happy with these jobs. So that mismatch is there. So we have to reduce this mismatching. That is the idea. You have to map out what are the resources you have, what is their potentiality, and what is the job design. The jobs and their skills are really matched or not. For that, some of the auditing, to audit the things. Audit is very much required. Audit can give a report. Here, the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. SOTW is the human resource management system is prescribed for the finalizing of the stock taking purposes. Pinpointing the things. Every individuals have some strength points, qualified or experienced, whatever the things. And definitely he should have some weak point also. Maybe the communication skill is not good. So that is one of the weak point. Even though he is a very knowledgeable person. I'm just giving you an example. Then opportunities. Really, after 3 years, 4 years, some opportunities there are not. He will be a manager, chances will be manager or not. That things, initially, that should be clear from the management side, from the organization side. After 4 years, the policy is there, will be this position. So that is the opportunity. Then only he can motivate, he can initiate, he can generate to do the hard work. So you have to encourage the things. So opportunities should be there. Threats. What are the threats for these things? That positions are really required after 5 years or not. For example, in today's scenario, AI are coming up. AI everywhere, the artificial intelligence are talking throughout the world. People are expecting coming 15, 20 years, maybe 30-40% jobless will be there. Most of the things will not be required for the future purposes. None of the jobs. So you have to design jobs in such a way so that it can sustain for the long time. So all these things, parameters are there. So that's why the finalizing the stock taking is very important. you have to map out the things. Now, strategic contribution of the organizations, so some of the things well articulated, and the age of the HR strategies align the company strategy. As I say, everything you have to see the company organizations strategy itself. Then effective role play of the HR, the management to the HR professionals, ethics, and their innovation of the HR initiatives can add to the business. Then HR's strategy for the workforce performance, the role of a HR personnel in ensuring the work-life integrations. Then work-life integration is very also another aspect nowadays in the present scenario of the worldwide. Then forecasting of the staff requirement, influence of the technological advancement. Then some variation in the employment practices, that also have to see changes in the policies, changes in the policies enforced by the government, because time to time government also changes a lot of policies. The demand and the supply of the labor, availability of the skill levels. For example, now USA in the job, for the job related matters, now they're taking different policies because it is required for them. It is demand for their government demands. So similarly, the demand and supply of the labor and all these things, again, some policy has to be enforced in every country. Important forecasting, then some of the, because of the change and receiving the change, companies' proactive actions are to be considered. So when we are forecasting or the predicting in the future, enables the company to be proactive. How can forecasting make organizational excel? Because some of the things helps the goal setting and the planning, helps the budgeting. Then your helps in the anticipating the changes within the different markets. So all the things are, you can excel for these purposes. This is basically the organizational excellences. The way there are 3 ways for the forecasting. First things you have to do goal setting, planning. Budget is one of the important, and anticipating the changes. You have to anticipate. You have to intuitions. You have to see this much thing are to be coming up in the future. That is a very important things. You have to anticipate what are the different markets are coming. Now you have to map out the things, because mapping is understood the identifying, easily you can identify the things, allocate the things, diagramming the things, what are the available resources are there. And accordingly you have to improve the circumstances, what are the things that there's awareness, JS. So that awareness build up is required in the organizations, so that easily you can compare the things. That's why you have to pre-preparedness towards the competitive environment. Through this map out, when you are mapping the things, easily you can identify, yes, our manpower should be skilled this much levels. This much level you have to set it. Then only you can be competitive, you can more productive. So that much you have to prepare this also. And same time, when you are recruiting, you have to prepare in such a way that particular employee are really fit for your requirement, so that he can also come for a competitive world or competitive environment. He can phase out all these things. We can do this very easily. Then understanding the human resource inventory. Inventory is also very important. You have to assessment how much skill you have right now and how much skill is required, or just like a raw material. Similarly, human resources, you have to make some inventory also. This much talent people I have. 4 or 5 computer engineers I have. This much 2 mechanical engineers I have. So that you have to list it out. That is your inventory, and accordingly you have to step for the resource mapping. For further resource mapping is required. So there are a lot of steps are there. Your first steps for the mapping purposes. I'm not going all these things. It is there are 9-10 steps are there. This is the way you can find it out the steps. And then some of the factors are there: assessment and the current manpower profile, budget planning, corporate strategies, all of the stock taking practices. importance of the manpower mapping, why it is a vital and efficient, your optimizations, motivations, better relation between the employees, and your higher productivity. So this is all of the important manpower purposes. Or you can see the benefits of the things. If we implement the manpower mapping systems, then that is all of the benefits of the things. So okay, I think this is the way I try to cover up the units up to unit 6. Now in the next sessions, we will cover the block number 1 unit is left out, unit number 7, and block 3 we will to cover in the next sessions. So okay, thank you very much. Thank you.